Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm going to be going through a full box that I have here with me full of makeup that I purchased and was influenced to purchase by others, either here on YouTube or on Instagram. So I think I've got pretty much a full face of makeup. It's a very large basket, but you can see we've got foundation, sunscreen, palettes, brushes, lots of blushes. So I'm pretty excited to get into it. As always, I feel like I always say that, but I just love playing with makeup and I'm always excited to dive into it and try stuff that's new. I think we've got brands here that I have tried before, some that are new to me. We are certainly not going to get through every product in here, so I will save some and we can use them in another video down the road. But I am eager to try this stuff out, and some of it I have played with a bit just to get my thoughts on it, because as much as I like first impressions, sometimes the makeup doesn't look as good because you're maybe mixing textures together that just don't work. And so having an idea of how they perform before I apply it and kind of knowing what products will work best with it, I think is going to give me a better result. And I do want my makeup to look very nice. So I did fiddle with some beforehand, but I still will give you my thoughts because I haven't actually applied them on camera just yet. So without further ado, if you like these kinds of videos, then please subscribe, give this video a big like, and ring the bell if you want to be notified of any new videos I have coming out. I typically upload new videos on Mondays. Sometimes, depending on my full-time job work schedule, I cannot do that, but I've really been trying to get my Monday videos in. Before we even get to putting on the makeup, I have some new tools here. So I've got some brushes from Spectrum. I've had these for a while, but just haven't reached for them yet. I've been saving them for kind of like a first impressions video. So we have 8 brushes here together, and I think between the 8 of them, I should be able to get a full face. We also have sponges from there. This is their Spectrum Oceana sponge. You get a full size and then a mini. These are super cute colors for spring. When it's dampened, it does blow up a decent size. So you can see that difference here. And I've squeezed out quite a bit of moisture, and then I've wrapped it in a towel to make it even more dry, because I kind of like my sponges to be like slightly dampened. So you can see the difference here. So we'll be playing with a sponge because the foundation we're going to use today I find works best with a sponge. Now we do have a sunscreen to try out. So before I even put on my foundation, I'm going to go into this. This is the Nude Sticks Nude Screen Daily Mineral Veil with SPF 30. Now I have the light shade. I think they've got 3 shades they came out with. So I purchased the cool shade, and I think it's a pump, which is very nice. I did pick out my Drunk Elephant Debronzy Anti-Pollution Sunshine Drops because I've seen a few reviews on this, all good, but the cool tone in particular does seem to have a bit more of like a white cast, and so I thought I would just use some like bronzing drops to kind of make it more skin toned. So that's why I grabbed these. These are not new to me. I've had this for a while, and I usually use this for foundations that I need to make a little bit more warmer if they're just a little too fair for me. So we'll pump this on the back of my hand, just the smallest amount of the Debronzy. You can see it there, making a little kind of rose glow concoction. Doesn't feel overly hydrating, and it doesn't feel greasy, so that's a plus because I really hate when my sunscreens feel greasy. Although I'm not minding this, I think this actually is going to be really nice for those of you with oily skin, because I really feel like it's getting absorbed into my skin very fast. So if you're a dry guy or gal out there, you're probably going to want to make sure your skin's still hydrated beyond this. So either putting a setting mist or really hydrating thick moisturizer because my skin is still feeling quite dry. Now, I'm not gonna add another moisturizer, but to give my skin a little bit of extra moisture, I'm just gonna spray some of my Dominique Cosmetics setting spray. So before we put on the foundation, I have this little Glowful Mini from Spectrum that came in one of their mystery boxes. So I thought I would go ahead and use this underneath because I do have a face palette where I can use a highlighter in it, a powder highlight. So we'll keep one under the skin and then we'll put one on top. This is feeling very nice and hydrating. I mean, it says it's hydrating and illuminating primer. Oh, I guess I had a primer right here. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit just up here for hydration. It's working well with the sunscreen. I'm not getting any pilling, but I'm just kind of tapping it in. I like how this feels, but it absorbed really nicely into my skin. Felt very like gel-like in texture. I didn't see any large glitter particles, so definitely will keep playing with this. Now for foundation, I have the Makeup Forever HD Skin Longwear Foundation. I have the shade 1N10. Now I have used this before, and I know from experience that this works best with a beauty blender. It is definitely a thicker formula and it is on the more full coverage side. This is the packaging here, and the top comes off and you have a little pump. I do not like the texture of the top. It feels like a smooth sandpaper sheet, and anything with like sandpaper or a chalky rough feel grosses me out. So I hate touching the lid. To be honest, I might just keep it off. I don't like it. I feel like most people I've seen reviews for this have liked it and like the top. I'm just the weirdo I just can't stand the feeling of it. And then I'm gonna put a bit on the back of my hand and work from there. Should have just done that to start. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see a 24-hour wear test. This claims that you can wear it for 24 hours and it will last that long. I find that hard to believe that any foundation could last 24 hours, but I am willing to put my skin through that for you because I do think this is definitely long wearing. I would agree that based on my previous experiences with this foundation, when I've worn it, it did appear to be long wearing, especially for my oily skin. If you're new here, hi, my name's Nessa and I have oily skin, and I think that was really nice about it, that I could see my oils just taking a bit longer to come to the surface. My glow was minimized throughout the day. I want to say that it sets very quickly and it does dry down and it does feel like it's not going to budge around, which is pretty nice. I like the finish that it's giving my skin right now, and it hasn't broken me out, which I think is another important piece of information, because the last thing you need is a foundation that breaks you out, especially when it's something that's long wearing. I can say it's not clinging to any dry patches, and I really like how even it's made my skin look. This is a foundation I've really been enjoying recently. I've worn it maybe 4 or 5 times. In one of my most recent videos, the one where I try out Hindash's new Monochromance palette and his color fluid and lipstick products that he just released, the base of my face is using the Makeup Forever HD foundation. And I feel like my skin looks really good, very even, very flawless in that video. And you can see how things applied to it if you're curious. Now, the concealer that I have is one that I was on the fence about getting, but I just took the plunge and did it. I got the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer in the shade LG3, and I have used this before too. Oh, I guess I should have said who influenced to buy me these products, because that's the whole point. Okay. Wow. So let's just start with the Spectrum brushes and the sponges. I was influenced by Katie Jane Hughes and her Spectrum collab. Her brushes that she made with Spectrum, they're like these green ones, which you've probably seen. I at least use one brush in every video, and I love them so much. I want to try more from the brand, and I had seen that a few people I follow had gotten the mystery boxes, so I thought that would be a good way to try more of their brushes at a more affordable way, because this brush set, when I bought it, was like, honestly, it was extremely expensive. It was 300 Canadian dollars, and I can't recall if I had to pay an import fee because it was like about a year ago, but it was a very pricey brush set. I don't regret it. I've loved using it, but I wanted to see if any of their other brushes would hold up. So that's kind of why I bought these. I will link all the people who influenced me to buy these products in the description box below, so you can check out their Instagram or their YouTube channel. If there's a specific video in mind that I watched that influenced me to buy something, I will let you know that too. Anything from the Spectrum mini box, I'll say, is Katie Jane Hughes, because it all came together in one box. The sunscreen, that one I was influenced by Alana Davison to purchase. She actually went down, I think she was in California doing a shoot for her Picante blush. They were doing like a promotion for it because it was going to be a permanent fixture, or it was becoming a permanent fixture in the Nude Sticks collection, but they were also launching their sunscreen at that time. And so she was trying it out, and there was one video where she's getting ready in the bathroom of a hotel and she's trying it on, and I pretty much threw it in my cart instantly after watching that video. The foundation, since I purchased it, I've seen lots of people talk about it. I feel like Makeup Forever had a full campaign where they had quite a few influencers talking about it, but the one that got me into it was Andrea Ali on YouTube. She's also on Instagram. If you don't follow her, I really suggest that you do, especially if you kind of like my style of makeup. She's a Romanian makeup artist based in Paris. I'm Romanian, totally not a makeup artist, but I wanted to show another Romanian some love, and she was talking about how she liked the finish of it on her skin. And from watching her video and knowing that she really does know her stuff, I feel like she's an expert in her industry. I had to pick it up based on her recommendation, and I have not been disappointed wearing it. I think it can tend to look a bit heavy if you go overboard. That's my one caveat with it, but I have been enjoying it, which is why I kept it a little bit more light so we could go in with a more full coverage concealer. And this is the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Concealer. I was influenced by Julia Adams on YouTube to try it out. She has oily skin, or combo oily skin, kind of just like I do. I think our skin's very similar, and I think she struggles with breakouts, as do I. And she really enjoys, I don't have it in front of me, but the LYS foundation, just like I do. And so she had tried this on, and she seemed to like it. And so I figured, since we have similar skin, I'm probably going to enjoy it as well. Hence why I picked it up. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Like I said, I have tried it. The one thing I want to point out is the applicator, the doe foot applicator, is so snug in there. Like, this is just like dangling there, and I don't have to worry about it popping out because I really have to pull to get it out. I don't know if it's just the one I got, but it makes me nervous every time, like, I'm gonna pull it out and concealer's gonna fling all over my wall behind me or my shirt. I do like the doe foot applicator. It's triangular, which is really unique. Definitely gonna need more. You can see when I'm going in, I gotta push and then pull, and it makes me nervous. I'm so scared this is gonna break. That's the one thing I don't like about using this, is I just have this fear that I'm going to use barely any of this and then the applicator is going to break off. Now, should we try a brush instead of a sponge? I think we'll try a brush and then I'll smooth it out with a sponge. This one I would say looks like it's for foundation or concealer. It is the AO2 brush from Spectrum. Now, this brush feels very dense, but also quite soft. I've noticed that the difference with these brushes from the Katie Jane Hughes collection is that the ends are a lot thicker, whereas the Katie Jane Hughes collection, it's a lot on the thinner side. I do appreciate that as someone who doesn't have very large hands. It just feels nicer to grip something that's a little bit more petite than something that's very large. It also takes up less space when I'm putting things in my makeup bag or where I keep all my brushes in front of me. This is blending it out very nicely. I know I'm just like roughly dispersing it, and then I'm gonna go with my sponge. Now I have to say the combination of these two, foundation and concealer together, is quite lovely. I feel like it's very much blurred my pores. It looks really smooth. The colors complement each other. I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. Like my skin looks really good today. This is a good skin day and so far looking like a good makeup day. Okay, so I do have a cream blush to try out. I have like 7 of them actually. Now a few of these influenced products that I purchased are from the same person. This next one, which I demolished this packaging, is from Huda Beauty. It is their new cheek tint blush stick in the shade Perky Peach. Andrea Ali has been in love with these and she's been raving about them so much, and I know that when she really does like a product, she uses it over and over again. I've seen her use this probably 7 or 8 times. This is what it looks like. It has a soft matte feel to it and then kind of like a see-through lid. And then the cream blush is in this rounded form. Andrea has said that this is very long wearing, which makes me think that it is kind of like a cream to powder finish. So I'm just gonna go and I don't want to apply this right to the skin. Sure, let's pick it up with the sponge. Okay, I'm gonna try my hand. Okay, that gives more pigment. They're definitely not as impactful as I thought they would be. A little bit more sheer, which makes me feel like you could go heavy with it and you could sheer it out very nicely and it wouldn't look overdone, which is nice because they have some very unique colors. I picked up these shades, I think the really pink one, that's kind of like a bubblegum pink, and then I also picked up Rebel Red because I feel like that would be a really nice like sunburnt shade. Now don't you fret, we were going to go over this with some powder blush and it's going to look a lot more intense, because I know that the blush that I'm going to use definitely has pigment. So I'm okay with this soft kind of peachy glow. Personally, I might like something that's got a little bit more pigment to it. I feel like I'm putting down a lot and not getting a good color payoff. Oh, okay, let's just go like that. I'm always scared to do that because I feel like some of the foundation will transfer underneath. It doesn't feel very gel-like or very moisturizing. I feel like it's a little tacky to the skin, so it doesn't completely dry down and it does have a sheen to it. Now I'm just gonna set this. Just gonna use my Rare Beauty powder really quick because we're pretty much done with the liquids. Going in with a giant brush. This is the best way I have found to apply this. If you use a sponge, it does not look good. The next 2 products are also inspired and purchased because of Andrea Ali. In particular, the Nudegasm face palette. I have not tried this. It's from Charlotte Tilbury. She, again, like the blush, uses this in almost every video, so I know she loves it. I love me a good all-over face palette where I can use it in a bunch of different ways. So you have bronzer, contour, a highlighter, and then like a glowy blush. It's really nice and versatile because you can pack easily with these. They typically come with a large size mirror. And then you also could use this to do makeup on your face. Sorry. You could use this to do makeup on your eyes if you so desired, because you could get a very simple and seamless look using these colors. They're neutrals. They're going to look very nice, especially if they're face powders. They're going to perform even better on the eyes. So I definitely had to pick this up. I've never tried a face palette from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the first one. And I feel like if there was ever going to be one I would try, is definitely this one, because it has like the contour shade, which is matte, and the bronzer shade looks to be matte, which is nice. And then you get the glow from the highlighter and the blush. So I know in particular she uses these shades a lot, not so much the blush and the highlighter. We are gonna skip the blush today, but we will use the other colors. I'm actually gonna use this very dense Spectrum C2 brush. I'm gonna go into the contour shade, just bounce it in. I would typically use this more for creams, but I think it's okay today to use for powder. Just going into this shade here. It's got a nice gray undertone to it, a very nice taupey shade, which mimics like a shadow. It's gonna give me a more defined look. I want to kind of pinch in this area and make it look a little more pronounced and bony, which is gonna give me a more slimmed out effect to my face. I'm gonna run it a bit underneath my jaw. Nothing spectacular, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not very wowed. Now for bronzer, we're gonna go into this one that says Love right here. I'm just gonna use an angled brush. I kind of had the feeling these were gonna be very pigmented, but I should know better by now, having tried a few products from Charlotte Tilbury in the past, that her products are, I would say, heavier than the Hourglass, but just as like finely milled, where they really give you an airbrushed look, and you don't need too much to build up a look, but it also is very hard to make it look heavy. And that's why I think it's so expensive, is because it really is a quality product. It's very rare that I've tried a product from her that I feel it was like rushed maybe during the design process. And I feel like it's all very well thought out, and it can work no matter whether you have skin that's 60 years old, 40 years old, or 20 years old. Let's go in with the fan brush. This is the A10, and we'll pick up the shade here. I suspect if you have darker skin, you could probably use this peachy shade as well for a highlighter, and it would look very gorgeous on you. This gold one's working quite well. Yeah, I really like that glow. I don't mind something to be a little bit heavier in terms of highlight. At this point, I embrace the glow. If I want things to look matte, I can certainly make them look matte, but at this point in my life, I feel like having more healthy and radiant looking skin makes my skin look younger, and I don't want to try and look older. I think if you're going for an all matte look, you're probably in your teens or your 20s and you wanting to feel more mature and older. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I'm at the point in my life where I want to look younger. I want to keep my youthfulness, because time is going by so fast that I fear I will look older than I expect, sooner than I expect. Now for powder blush, we are going to go into another very expensive product. This is the Pat McGrath Divine Blush in the shade Nude Venus. The packaging, so gorgeous. Like, Pat McGrath does things so well. But aside from Pat McGrath's foundation and her eyeshadow palettes, I've not tried another complexion product from her. This is my first time. And Andrea Ellie, again, I've seen her use blushes from Pat McGrath a few times, and it just, I feel like, really made the look come together. This is what the shade looks like. It's a very nice peach. I think it's gonna go very well with the Perky Peach shade. So I think, yes, I was right. There's a really nice pairing here to have the cream product and then set it down with a powder. And that's kind of like how I really enjoy my blushes. And I think Andrea is the same way. If you use a cream product and then you set it with a similar color that's a powder, you're really gonna get longevity from it. And so that's what I want, because blush is one of my favorite products to apply, and I want that vibrancy to stick on my cheeks. So I'm certainly going to be setting it using using a powder. So I think the shade that I saw Andrea use, it was the shade Flirtatious, but I think this one will work for today. I'm gonna use the Spectrum A5 brush here. I'm gonna go in. This one, I know it's got pigment, so I'm gonna tap it off, and I'm gonna bounce it on my hand. This is a very nice brush for sweeping blush. It's very relaxing. Oh, I like that. And this one does have a subtle glow to it as well, even though to me, it does look matte in the pan. That's so lovely. We're gonna take a bit right here on the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna quickly do my eyebrows. I have no new products for them. And I will curl my lashes, which I can do right now, and we'll come to eyes and then the lips. I think that will be everything. So I just use the Kosas Brow Pop for my eyebrows in soft brown, I believe. That's the shade. I'm very much enjoying this look right now. I think my skin, at least from what I can see in my mirror, looks quite flawless. And honestly, that is what I would expect from people who are here on YouTube and influencing others to purchase products that they enjoy. Ultimately, that's what I'm looking to get, is products that are going to give me a very seamless look, that are highly recommended. And so when I try out these products, I usually have it in my mind that I'm going to enjoy them because I already know the style of the person I follow, what kind of skin type they use, where things they use might match well with me, might not. Products that I'm drawn to that I know I can make work, whether we share a similar skin type. So I very much am enjoying this video. So for shadow palettes, I've got 3 quads here. So the first 2 are from Give Beauty, which just launched. It's Gwen Stefani's line. Now, it feels like every celebrity is coming out with their own makeup line or their own skincare line, which sometimes I'm okay with, depending on if they're coming out with something that's new and different. In other cases, I've just completely ignored it. This one drew my attention because the packaging was kind of simple, but also kind of ornate. And then when you open it up, you get a quad that I'm hoping down the road they're coming with inserts because it pops out, which is cool in that, like, if you really find a color story that you like, you can pop it in and use it. And then when you hit pan, you can just replace it instead of having to buy the packaging. I think a lot of brands are coming out with refills, which makes sense because as someone who has to take the environment into consideration for their job, it does mean I care a lot about it. I know I could do a lot better, but having refills and not having to waste packaging when you're done with it, I respect that a lot, and I really am thrilled that she came out with that. I also like that she came out with quads, because when I think of Gwen Stefani, I really think of like over the top, very glam makeup, yet I was surprised that she came out with quad eyeshadow palettes that are very neutral in color. Like, there's something I would expect to see from like Ilia or kind of like a clean beauty brand, maybe even like Merit down the road, not the packaging, but the color story itself. So I was inspired to get these from Gabrielle Alvarez. She mostly is active on Instagram, and I really feel like she's an up and coming makeup artist. So you really should keep your eyes on her. She does a lot of work with color, but then she also plays with neutrals, and she has been going on and on about these. So I picked them up because of her. I definitely recommend checking her out. She is so funny, so down to earth and real, and I just love everything she comes out with. She's extremely talented, so I definitely recommend checking her out. So I have these shades, Simple Kind of Life, which is an all matte palette. You've kind of got some peachy light pink tones and then some taupes and beige colors. And then there's Danger Zone. And the packaging is like recyclable cardboard, which I really also enjoy. And this is what Danger Zone looks like. It is a more cool toned palette, whereas I would say this one's kind of cool toned as well, but you've got a little bit more warmth to work with. I also think this is really nice if you've got a more like a palette that's more glittery, or you have some glitter toppers. This is a great like companion palette to use, and just keep this and then change up the colors with your toppers. So the next palette I have, said I had 3 here, is the Charlotte Tilbury Luxury Palette. It's the quad in Walk of No Shame. Now, I got this because of Mixie here on YouTube, who I follow and is also a very creative and colorful person. She has no problem playing with color, and I find that really inspiring, and it pushes me out of my comfort zone. She just recently did a video where she used a quad from Charlotte Tilbury. I think she said it was her first purchase from the brand, and I think it was a cool toned palette. And I have Charlotte Tilbury palettes, but they are the ones that she comes out with around Christmas, the limited edition ones that have like 9 or 12 colors in them. I've never actually bought a quad from her, so because of Mixie, I was thinking it's about time I try a quad and see if the quality is the same or superior to her larger pan palettes. And I got Walk of No Shame. I might use a bit of the Danger Zone palette with this and come up with something to mix them both together, and then I can play with Simple Kind of Life in another video. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to start with this white shade here. I do have to say I've tried the Simple Kind of Life palette just to play with. These do have a lot of powder in them, like there's a good amount of kickback, so keep that in mind. I would definitely tap them off, dust them off before you go onto the eye, because I think with some of the deeper shades like this, you will get fallout. I'm going to go into this taupey shade here. I'll be honest, I do like a powder that's a little pressed a little bit more firmly. We're not going to do a crazy eye today at all. This is going to be very, very basic. I'm going to go into Walk of No Shame, and I'm going to take this burgundy shade here. Taking this smudger brush, I'm going to go into this shade here. I'm going to take a bit of this one. And then I'm going to go on top with this shade here. It'd be best if I use my finger. What I'm going to do is take this shade here with my pinky, put it in the inner corner. Lastly, we will go into this darker, to me it kind of looks blue, but then it also looks a little bit navy. I will take this little liner brush, just kind of tight line the lash line. Just like the hint of a baby wing. There we go. I think that's a nice look. I'm pretty happy with it. Now for mascara, I'm going to try out the Spectrum Dark Matter Black Mascara. This came in the mystery box as well as the glossy balm. So I'm going to try this first because this color just looked amazing for spring. Also for summer. This is the shade Megan. I actually really enjoy a flat doe foot applicator for applying lip gloss. Oh, it's got like a coconut scent to it. No, it's not really coconut. It smells like the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. It's got like a sweet kind of vanilla scent. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna like this wand. Definitely a very natural mascara. So I would say this is a lengthening mascara, and then it also gives you definition. This is something I would wear on a no makeup day. Okay, I really enjoy this mascara from Clarins. So this is the Supra Lift and Curl Mascara. I love it. It does not transfer to the lashes below. Kind of reminds me of the Lancome Lash Idol because it's got this little scoopy thing that really gives you a wispy lash. And for my eye shape, it's really nice when my lashes kind of go out this way because it makes my eye shape look larger. And because of the scooped wand, I can really do that. I can really push them out. So you can see how I'm focusing it on the outer edge. Leaves this part more bare and then this side more full, which gives the effect of a lifted and open eye. All right, guys, this is the finished look. I am actually super thrilled how everything turned out. I really enjoy my makeup look. It feels very natural. Does not feel too heavy on my face. I think my skin looks very flawless. I feel like I've got this nice luminous glow. I think everything is very complementary to each other. I feel and look mature. I actually feel like I should go out and run some errands now just to kind of show off this makeup because it is a good makeup day, which is exactly what I wanted. Like I said earlier, when you purchase products from someone that's influenced you to do that, whether it's here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, a friend a family member. You really want that makeup to look good on you and you're expecting that. So I think my expectations were achieved today. Everything looks splendid. I am very happy with the outcome and I'm going to continue to play with these products. Hopefully this video isn't too long. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. Let me know if there have been any products recently that you've been influenced to buy by others. I'm curious to see what you are purchasing these days. If you're not purchasing, what is something you're thinking about buying but might pass on? Leave that down in the comments below. I will see you guys in my next one. Love you all so much.